Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Hayya ala salah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Hayya ala salah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Hayya ala salah. Allahu Akbar. Hayya ala salah. Allahu Akbar. Once again, I rise giving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the highest of praise and the highest of honors to his holy and divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Last week, last holy day, we discussed the importance of knowing what the cares of the world consist of. And we talked about certain elements and ailments, if you will, that plague our people. Our people need help. We as Moorish Americans, we have not shaken off all of the ailments of European psychology. Why do I say that? Because granted that we are in the circle of those that want their condition to be better, we still have to go out from the shores of salvation and go out to the cares of the world. So some of that will have some type of influence on our well-being. What we take from that is between you and Allah. Islam? But we went on by talking about the mental conditions of our people, the poverty level of society of our people as a collective. We went on and talked about the murder rate and so on and so forth. These are things that have to happen eternally, that needs to change internally. Because it's a condition that we have that cannot be solved with just saying that I'm a Moorish American. I am a citizen of the US of A. Because we have to know what it means to be a citizen of the US of A. We have to know what it is to be a Moorish American Muslim. I often say in our Holy Day meetings that we are laboring to become better citizens.
Praise Allah.
But in order for us to become better citizens, we must first become better men and better women.
Islam.
Islam?
Islam.
I'm going to talk about a couple of things today. I'm going to talk about success. I'm going to talk about failure. All right? Moorish Science Temple of America is a religious organization. It is incorporated. Thus, it will go through ebb and flows as a business, as a group of people that have a particular ideal and look to work out that ideal. They're going to go through things. So the question that I have for you is that, do you have the fortitude for perseverance? Because we can be Moorish Americans all day. We can quote the Moorish Holy Quran, the Divine Constitution, bylaws. We can quote the said words of our prophet. But when the kitchen gets hot, are we still there to go through the fire? When the numbers get low, are we coming up with the plans to continue to spread the word of our holy and divine prophet, to get the message out there to our people? When the cares of the world gets too heavy on our shoulders, do we exercise the instructions of our holy and divine prophet, or do we revert back to being a Negro with affairs on? These are the questions that we have to ask, because more often than not, I talk about unity, but before we establish unity, we have to establish unity within ourselves.
Demonstrate.
That is a form of purity, is it not?
Praise Allah.
I want to read it from an article from our Moorish literature, The Voice of the Prophet. For those that have Moorish literature, please turn to that particular article. It's a short article. And for those that do not, please listen. Let me hear Islam for everybody who does have any Moorish literature that gets to that article. Islam.
Islam.
Islam. The Voice of the Prophet. If you have race pride and love your race, join the Moorish Science Temple of America and become a part of this divine movement. And you will have the power to redeem your race because you will know who you are and your forefathers were. All right? Prophet states in the Quran questions, how did the Prophet begin to uplift the Moorish American? And the answer is by teaching them to be themselves.
Right.
There is a lecture by one of the by Malcolm X, Haj Malik Shabazz. Allah be pleased with him. And in that lecture, he said, "Who are you? What was your name before you were given Smith or James or Williams? What did you call yourself? How?" He called it he said the white man, but how did the European get you to change your name and forget who you are? What did they do to make you forget your history and bring you to the situation that you are today? And that process in itself, I'm guessing, can take anywhere between 100 to over 100 years. 100 to about 400 years, if you will. And counting. But he said, how are we to rise as a people? How are we to uplift fallen humanity if humanity itself doesn't know who they are? So the first thing to do is to get you confident in who you are as an individual and know that you have others that have that same build. Y'all get what I'm saying? Let me continue on. Because where there is unity, where there is strength. Together we stand, divided we fall. Come, good people, because I, the prophet, sent to redeem this nation from mental slavery, which you have now, need every one of you who think that your condition can be better. He didn't say physical slavery. He said mental slavery. So even though we were emancipated, we were still confined and restricted in our psyche. And that is obvious by what we see today. By the masses. And even, dare I say, within some of our circles. There's something that clicks in our mind that makes us for or against the thing. We have inhibitions in our minds that regardless if that person may have a good spirit, we want to do them harm. And those that are Moorish American, card-carrying members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, know that is in direct violation of Act 3. Those who think their condition can be better. Everybody has that thought. So if everybody that we know, both inside the Moorish Science Temple and outside of the Moorish Science Temple of America, think their condition can be better, then we have a chance. Islam? We have the opportunity. But they have to hear the words of the Prophet. They have to see purity made manifest. They have to know what it is to be a Moorish American. This is a field open to strong men and women to uplift the nation and take your place in the affairs of men. If the Europeans and other nations are helping me, why not you? How about that? Prophet gives us a demonstration on European psychology, but at the flip side of the coin, he's saying that the Europeans also recognize that we are striving to remove ourselves from mental slavery, from their own yoke. Because they know if they know that they no longer have to deal with the Negro problem, that's a relief to themselves. Granted, it was by their own accord. Let's not forget that. In part, rappers, excuse me. The Negro problem is being solved only as it can, and that is by the Moorish National Divine Movement. If you have a nation, you must have a free national name in order to be recognized by this nation as an American citizen. This is what was meant when it said, "Seek ye first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added unto you."
Praise God.
Islam?
Islam.
Let's talk about this one thing. Let's talk about the Negro problem. Question, family. What's the Negro problem? Now, let me say this. What is the Negro problem according to our doctrine? Let's do that. What is it that the prophet is referring to as the Negro problem? Or as other words, what plagues our community? What are the hang-ups that we have that contribute to arrested development?
Inconstancy, insufficiency of knowledge, weakness, and what's other?
It's misery.
Misery.
Mm-hmm.
Misery. And there's one more. I see you.
Yes, inconstancy, insufficiency of man, weakness, insufficiency of knowledge.
Instability.
That's the one. Instability of man.
Instability of man, part 7. Instability of man and misery. Y'all know what I'm saying. It's the Elohim works. So, those are the Negro problems. And that's coupled to add on to what the brothers were saying. Those are the issues that we're having. So, if we identify the problem, then what is the remedy? Now, the given answer is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. But let's expound on that. Because our prophet gave us certain intricacies of this love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. He gave it to us in that doctrine. I'm going to take a point from a conversation that I had with one of my master teachers. And it was something very profound. I've been thinking about this all week. And the responsibility of the Moorish American is to be a Moorish American. I'm going to say that again. The responsibility of a Moorish American is to be a Moorish American.
Say that.
Not to just do the Moorish American thing. It's a difference between being and doing. It's a difference between being who you are and doing what you do. That is that line that separates those who have and those who have not. I want to read from another chapter in our Moorish literature. And it comes from the Moorish leaders' historical message to America. When we all gotten to that particular article, say Islam. I said I was going to talk about success and I was going to talk about failure. Let me touch bases on that. So earlier I was talking to a client. The client was frustrated. For those that do not know, my trade is graphic design and illustration. So I was dealing with my client, and they were distraught. They were distraught because the services that they have they were going through a trial, if you will, where they were going to lose their main resource. So in other words, they were going to be stripped. They weren't going to have anything. And instead of me talking about business and how you want to do your logo and everything, she's like, well, I don't know if I'm going to even have a logo. I don't know if I'm going to have a business. Because in her mind, she thought that once that resource was taken away, that there was no other outlet. That how is it that she was going to find another plug, if you will? How is it that she was going to be able to reestablish herself? And the whole time that she's having this conversation, she was saying, I can't, I don't know, I can't, I don't know. So first and foremost, you have to remove those words from your vocabulary.
That's right.
Because you know, just like the Asiatic, they know they want their condition to be better. But the issue is they don't know the avenue to go. They may have an idea. It's in the DNA. It's somewhere in the DNA. Because you can tell how we do a certain thing. You can tell how we go to church. You can tell how we interact with the people that we love, if you will. We can tell by the things that we have contributed to society. And how that has traces of our forefathers. So it's there. But to tap into it and to know what it is. See, all of us, raise your hand if you got a talent. So everybody has a talent. Praise Allah. So in your talent, even though you were self-taught, it would behoove you to be under the tutelage of someone that is more experienced, to know the technicality of the thing, to know the rules of engagement. We have brothers and sisters out here today, may Allah be pleased with them, that say that they know Moorish science, but they're not familiar with the Moorish Divine and National Movement. We have those that give credit to Noble Drew Ali, but don't give honors to the highest of honors to Noble Drew Ali. We have those that know all different types of hand gestures and hand movements and eye winks, but they don't know their divine constitution and bylaws. But they say that they're Moors and they're Moorish Americans. So you may have the talent and think that your conditioning can be better, but how do you know how to cultivate that talent? It says in creation and fall of man is that seed by Allah. But it has to be deeply and firmly planted and nurtured so it can unfold. So where's your nurturing? You can't nurture yourself. It has to come from an outside source. It has to come from a place of love. That's how you know you're being nurtured. This is some relationship advice. This is some relationship advice. The people who you're with, they should be making you a better person and vice versa. They should be nurturing you. They should be an asset and not a liability. If that person is helping you to strive and get you to that next level, that next degree, that degree of fruition, because when we go in relationships, we believe that it can work. We believe that this can happen. He looks good, she looks good, pleasing to the eye, so on and so forth. And then we have to gradually go through that three-step ladder. It takes a while maybe to get to faith, right? Then sometimes it takes a little longer to get to that fruition stage. But the fact that you made it to faith, that's what you know is true. You know that person is making you better and vice versa. The love is being reciprocated. So thus we are growing. You are being nurtured. We are being nurtured. Thus we are growing. We are unfolding. We're making progress. So when we fall and hit rock bottom, then what do? Some people call it in the sunken place. But let me tell you something. The prophet talked about the sunken place a long time ago. Because what do you call it when you're deeply planted in that soil?
Praise Allah.
When you're in the darkness. In the lowest depths.
Praise Allah.
We can only go up, family. Send to our Father God Allah. I digress. The point that I was making is that things are out there. Success is out there. But you got to believe in yourself. And you got to make you got to take the necessary steps. You can't just say, I want to be this way, and then just sit twiddling your thumbs with your arms crossed and your legs crossed and waiting for that thing to happen. Or I can do this, I can do that, so why is this not happening? Are you putting forth the effort? You get out what you put in. And you're going to continuously go through that cycle of success and failure because that makes you stronger. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength. How can you call yourself the faithful and not be tested? Your duty as a Moorish American is to be a Moorish American. Islam? All right. Just a couple of more minutes and I'll yield the floor. Islam, family? So what I'm going to read in part, towards the end, I'm going to start with in connection with the religious aims and beliefs. In connection with our religious aims. Are we here? All right. In connection with our religious aims and beliefs, we must promote economic security. The preaching of economic security among us is by no means as widespread and intensive as the circumstances demand. No other thing is more needed among us at this time than greater economic power. All right? That is what we're looking to do. That is part of this Moorish Divine and National Movement. All right? I have a good friend of mine that said that his daughters, recently they were in a world studies class and they were talking about how the gross national product of every nation and what the Japanese and the Germans, what are they producing and so on and so forth. And what's interestingly enough, she said, well, Daddy, what is it that black people are producing? And so, the brother man said, we're not blacks, we're Moorish Americans. He talked to his daughter, and he said, well, what we have are resources that haven't been tapped yet, and our resources is the people. Much about this unity thing again has to go back to what we have going on internally, the inhibitions, these ancient hatreds, these ancient hatreds that we have. We're not just talking about within this Moorish movement and within this Moorish community. We're talking about even these ancient hatreds amongst yourself that's going on in your mind. Again, these inhibitions, these things that keep you from wanting to succeed. That says, I don't want to deal with this sister right here because she has cool glasses and I don't. That says, I don't want to deal with this brother right here because he has a dope and he didn't tell me where he got it from. And so that makes me think that he's selfish. And we're laughing, but stuff like this is true.
You working.
You know what I'm saying? But it's not what warrants it. We had a lot of stuff going on in our community where that has shaken up the trust. That's that instability. All right? That's that inconstancy. That's that weakness. Because again, as the prophet says, united we stand, divided we fall. That division is a weakness that doesn't allow us to come together. If you're in a circle of brothers and sisters that have a different school of thought than you are, man, y'all can't come to a commonality, a common ground. That is a problem.
That's right, Sheik.
That is a problem. Raise your hand if you still go to program. Raise your hand if you still get gas from wherever you get gas from.
Working, Sheik. Come on now.
It's funny because it's true. So you saying that we can't get together and come up with and have our own gas station?
That's right, y'all.
Let me talk about another example of success. All right. Went to a gas station, and this gas station just got built. got built really fast. I said, when I went up to the register to get my water, I said, man, it's amazing how this thing got up so fast, man, so on and so forth. And the brother, which I'm just going to say he's a Middle Easterner from Pakistan, India, somewhere, he said, yes, thank you. I said, this is one of the nicer, convenience stores, gas stations. He said, yes, thank you very much. It is my birthday present.
Praise Allah.
Man.
Islam, Sheik. That's a birthday present, Mo.
I said, how about that?
A gas station, Mo.
A gas station. How many birthday presents do you have that's a gas station? That's the gift that keeps on giving, right? As long as you keep it up, because it's up to you now.
That's right.
But that's the mind state that we have to think of. We have to think about these things that are eternal, if you will. And legacy is eternal. It may be brought out by conventional and means of material means, but the concept of legacy is important. Because you can continue a legacy, you can continue the success of your family, of your namesake, by way of this one act. So we have to get in the mind of leaving a legacy. And that comes with establishing an economy. That comes with establishing some form of resource or service that only the Asiatic, that only the Moorish American can provide, and the world can do nothing without.
Come on. Start up.
As much as we like to give it up to hip hop, it's already been infiltrated.
That's right.
We talk about other organizations and other groups of people that's been infiltrated. We haven't talked about hip hop.
That's right.
But if can we take away hip hop? Can we say, look, that's ours? We need that back right now? We need this to build our people. We can't do that. We can't restrict anybody. Because we've made it universal. Because we are loving people. It's all good. But we got to take care of that star player, family.
That's right.
Because people are going to leech off of us and use us as much as possible. Misuse us, I should say. It's not a problem us being used, it's how we're being misused. Let me continue on so I can close out. Better positions for our men and women, more business employment for our boys and girls, and bigger incomes that will follow our economic security. We shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. Let me repeat that again. We shall be secure in nothing until we have economic power. But in order to secure that economic power, we have to have the mental capacity to handle that. How many of us will be able to handle having our own gas station? And saying that this is your responsibility to have this gas station, and when your son or daughter gets of age, to bring her into that fold and to expand, to enterprise, and so on and so forth. We have to think 10 steps ahead. How many of us know how to play chess? So if we know how to play chess, that's the purpose of a game. Don't let them fool you. Everything we do have a purpose, from entertainment to games. You think we just playing games to be playing games? We playing games to be learning.
That's right.
So if you know how to move 10, how to go 10 steps ahead in chess, why is it that you don't know how to do that in life? Or why haven't we practiced that demonstration? Or does it only kick in when we got somebody in front of us that look like us that we want to defeat? We all for defeating somebody that looks like us. A beggar people cannot develop the highest in them, nor can they attain to a genuine enjoyment of the spiritualities of life. I'm going to jump where it says in conclusion. It says, in conclusion, I urge you to remember there is work enough for all to do in helping to build a better world. There's work for all of us to do. So there is no just sitting in the temples and twiddling your thumbs. You know, back in the day, in the times of the prophet, you used to be found for that. You used to be fined for that, rather. Standing around in your meetings. 50 cents. We got inflation, so that's like $10 now. And my math is probably a little off. Members wanted to be the faithful. It says in our divine constitution and bylaws in Acts 7, that all the necessities, that you will be deemed the faithful. But you can't do that unless you attend to do all those things, to build the temple. You have to nurture the temple. That temple is that seed. And we have to pour into it so it can grow and unfold. Islam? And then it goes on by saying the problems in life are largely social and economic. And in a profound sense, they are moral and spiritual, family. That's why that purity has to pave the way for love. We have to understand what it is. What does it mean to be a citizen? What does it mean? And first, we gotta take baby steps. Because it was a process to get us in this position, and now we have to take process to get it out. But the issue is that we want to jump process. You want to hit the ground running and not have no ideal of organization or construct or formation. So we have to understand that at first I gotta know thyself, and thy father got Allah. I gotta know that I came from Allah. I didn't come from no slave. I gotta know that I came from these group of people that influenced the world till this day. We just don't know that they were related because they divided us. So we're going against each other. Then once I know thyself, I can love thyself because I know where I come from. Going back to what the Honorable Malcolm X said, he said, "What is your history? Who are you? If you don't know how you are, how can you love yourself?" That's where the purity comes in. The purity comes in purging the idea that you were no more than this chair, than this black chair.
Demonstrate.
That can be used and misused and abused and thrown away, and they'll make another chair that looks just like you.
That's right.
They're producing another Negro every day. Have lofty conceptions of your duties to your country and your fellow men in general, and especially those with whom you deal. Have lofty conceptions of your duty. Does the Moorish American, as a collective, the Moorish Divine and National Movement, and not to pick on them, I'm not picking on my people. I love my people, and I desire for them the best. But we have to be who we are. Not just do the thing on Fridays and Sundays. Again, we have to be unapologetically Moorish American.
Islam, praise Allah.
Without a shadow of a doubt. The acts of a Moorish American Muslim, the characteristics of a Moorish American Muslim rather should be ingrained in you. It should be a part of every part. We got these tools, are we using them? Said the hammer. That hammer can be used on yourself.
That's Islam, isn't it?
This is the workshop of the mind that we're dealing with here. These are the tools that we need to get your house in order. We're not just talking about the physical house now, we're talking about the temple. One of my master teachers said the Moorish Science Temple of America is yourself. Man, know thyself. Islam family. I love y'all, man.
Love you back.
Islam. That's my measure. Do we have any questions, comments, add-ons? All praise due to Allah. I think I was over my time.
Praise Allah.
Appreciate y'all listening to me.
Praise Allah. Thanks for your message.
Praise Allah. Once again, give honors to the Noble Sheik Sha'il for your presence and your measure, and all of y'all that came here. Because y'all could have been anywhere else.
That's right.
We give honors to the brother, to the Ashe Hill. I'm sorry, the Ashe Bey family, for their child to be.
That's right. Praise Allah.
Bringing another Moorish American into the family.
That's right.
Praise Allah.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
Takbir.
Allahu Akbar. I'm trying to get Sister Jasmine to open up the meeting. She came in and said, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? I said, you can open the meeting. She said, I'm all right. I sit right here.
Okay. Swift response.
Yeah, swift response.
Swift and remarkable.
One day.
Praise the Lord. One day.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Hayya ala salah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Hayya ala salah.